and come back. Leave and come back. Okay.
Move to exit executive session.
Second that?
Hey, roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Any action?
No action.
No action.
Okay, and this miscellaneous, the Board of Commissioners approves the December, I think that should be the 23rd minutes, right? Because we approved the 17th in the meeting of the 23rd. Julie?
No, you didn't approve those minutes on the 29th.
We didn't.
No, on the 23rd, we approved the 17th though.
Oh.
The
Perhaps.
It should be approved the December 23rd, 2020. That should read the 23rd instead of 17.
Okay.
So we just need to change that.
I'll change.
Okay. Move that the Board of Commissioners approves the December 23rd, 2020 regular meeting minutes and the December 29th, 2020 special meeting minutes, the Monday, January 11, 2021 organizational day meeting minutes, and the Community Development Critical Infrastructure Grant public hearing for Maple Grove Road, Wyndham Village, and Pratt Street, Ravenna.
Second that?
Yeah,
Roll call?
Vicky,
yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Okay, move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to accept the donations to the Office of the Portage County Dog Warden.
Second that?
Okay. Roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes. Okay, is Ryan going to be here regarding, I know he sent us all a memo about doing away with the EMA advisory board.
Do you want me to allow him in?
Yeah, let's allow him in just to comment on that. I know there he is. Yeah.
There I am. All right. Good afternoon, commissioners.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Abolish this EMA advisory board?
No, I just wanted to open up the discussion to make sure that you were aware there were some inconsistencies in how we were operating as it pertains to organizing a local EMA per Higher Advice Code.
Right.
I think we're always trying to consolidate and operate more efficiently.
Right.
I think the board itself has kind of left a little bit to be desired. It's kind of turned into more of a discussion based. Obviously, we've held a lot of different organizational meetings and planning meetings, and we already actively engage with most of these entities and more actively annually through plan reviews or more outreach. We also have the LEPC, which caused confusion between the groups. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of the inconsistencies and obviously have a moment to comment on that. Of course, I'm happy to move forward whatever direction you feel is necessary. If it was to abolish the EMA board, I'm sure we would have to do some communication to the local communities that participated on it and just let them know that this is the direction that we're going.
And we'd need a resolution also, right, Ryan? I mean,
You know, that's the first time I would have to do something like this. I'm sure we would have to do a resolution. I can consult with Chris Maduri to see what the best direction is to do and approach it with you in a future meeting. I know our next EMA advisory board is the first Wednesday of March.
Yeah. And you know, Ryan, if we're just meeting to meet, it doesn't really have a lot of teeth in it, and there's, redundancy. I would be in favor of dissolving it. And then speaking of the LEPC, I talked with the other two commissioners at our organizational meeting, and we would like for all three commissioners to attend again.
I'm more than happy to have all three. So I always appreciate the support. And this year we had 8 hazmat team call outs, which 2 were to LEPC facilities. 2020 was going to be a busy year in the LEPC front. We were going to visit a couple facilities that we've had a little difficulty getting on the program, making sure they're doing their annual reporting. And that program was really starting to take off until obviously COVID kind of hindered some of those direct outreach programs. So we're excited about that, and it's got a heck of a mission. So I appreciate the support.
So you have the support. You want to get then with Attorney Maduri and see what we would need to do regarding dissolving the EMA Advisory Board?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Was that easy, Ryan, or what?
I guess it's just changed something that, I don't, prior to 2013, I don't know how active the EMA board was. 2013 is when new minutes were drafted and they started meeting bi-monthly. So it's just been something that's kind of always been in place. So everybody's usually a little adversarial towards change. So I think it's definitely the right direction to go.
I do too.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then
you.
Ryan, we'll need to look to see what we need to do to reverse or add back the other two commissioners to LEPC. Because I think you guys have to pass something and then we have to pass something.
At our next organizational meeting, we do the motion, which should be February, to approve the members, and then we submit the members to you in a resolution, which then goes to the State Emergency Response Commission.
Okay.
So as long as we make the
So
motion,
we don't have to do anything?
no, you'll just pass the resolution after we make the motion in the LEPC.
Okay.
And then at your organizational meeting, you would just assign all three commissioners to the LEPC like we had in the past. Since I think that was the only change that was last year only. Every other year it was all three commissioners.
Yeah.
Right.
We haven't passed that slate, Vicky, so we can still hold off on that and then we'll just add it. All right. And then Ryan, we'll see you towards the end. I guess now, Julie, you can let Joe Leslie back in.
Real
Well-
quick, I know Sabrina, me and you both have that 1 o'clock with Mental Health and Recovery Board.
I canceled mine because I knew we'd run over today, because as I looked at this agenda that was 12 pages long, I'm like, there's no way. So I had to reschedule. I told Karen, she's talking about maybe have me come, or actually more than just me can come now. I know Vicky wasn't available and Tony was new to speak maybe in April to the drug correlation or coalition, I guess I should say.
I am set to speak at 1. Do we expect?
Well, you know what? These are just resolutions and journal entries. We could probably skip to that add-on and come back to that. Is that okay, Vicky and Tony?
That's fine with me.
That's fine.
Yeah, just so that
He's
we
here.
can get you out of there, out of here. We'll need, well, you know what? Let's let Joe Leslie, if we have any questions, let's do the one resolution for the Green Space Conservation Program for
So
West.
he can go, so he can go.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Real well, thank you.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very
Did you
well,
want
sir.
to comment on this? The board has decided to support this. So I didn't know if you wanted to make some comments.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. And yes, I guess I'm happy to hear you're willing to support, but I'll give you some information about the project. To start with, I'm Joe Leslie. I'm the Director of Real Estate for West Creek Conservancy. We often are involved in projects like this as a facilitator. We have a more nimble approach. We're a nonprofit. We can get in and put properties under contract, and therefore, that's why we're involved in this. We're doing it in collaboration, though, with the Portage Park District. The property has also been a priority for ODNR's Division of Natural Areas and Preserves. It's a 170-acre property that'll ultimately become park. It's located in Rootstown, which is the 3rd largest township in the county, but has very few parks, and essentially is a void for Portage Park District's parklands. It's the site of one of the very few extant bogs in the state of Ohio, and only 2% of peatland bogs remain in Ohio. So it's a pretty rare bog. It also is a tamarack bog, also rare. And most interestingly, it is the last known site of the modern population of the Ledum groenlandicum, which is
I knew that. Joe.
Labrador tea. It's a plant. But it has been referenced in lots of scholarly studies regarding peatlands in Ohio for decades. So a very worthy project. And by the way, also, it is in the protection area for Kent and Ravenna's drinking water.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to support the West Creek Conservancy's Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program application for the Bird Bog project.
I second that.
okay, roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes. Thank you, Joe, for being so patient. I told Julie, I said, you better forewarn him. We've got a long agenda. We're going to run over. So I appreciate your patience with us today.
Oh,
Thank
not a problem at all. I appreciate the opportunity, and I was working in my office with the computer ready to speak at any time, so it worked out very well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good to see you,
Alright.
Joe. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Joe.
Thanks.
And now we need Joanne and Ryan. We're trying, Ryan. We're hurrying.
You're fine.
Well, Kelly Jo was done well long ago, so she can go first over there.
Just a beautiful day outside. That's all. Look at all that sunshine.
And you know, Joe's going to be the one they want to talk to, Diorio.
Mhm.
Julie, you called Joanne?
I emailed her, yeah.
Did you? Okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to. So, okay.
All right, I'm here.
Okay.
Thanks, Joanne.
Ryan, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. So I've briefly talked to you and Joanne both about possibly reopening the Portage County Administration Building. We're looking at possibly as soon as January 25th. Now, Joanne, we ask you to check about security. Do you want to respond to that?
Sure. Okay, so our security personnel here would be ready to go at any time you want. I reached out to Chris Maduri because I wanted to make sure it was going to be clear of what we were permitted to do. Now, we bought the temperature machines for the front doors and also for the Meridian Street doors, which will entail having a security person there. But my concern and what I reached out to Chris about was because in the past, it was like, well, while we say everyone has to wear a mask, we're not going to make people, we can't really enforce it. We don't want to have a problem. And so I said, well, what's going to happen with the temperature? If person comes in with a high temperature, can we turn them away? What's your take on this? And he said that if the board gives its approval, then security personnel could decline entrance to persons who exceed the temperature level, and if that person does not have a mask. Having said that, have security personnel be aware that it could cause a disturbance, and if things escalate, to call the Ravenna PD. Well, I called for Chief Wallace yesterday and had to leave a message because he was not in, and he hasn't returned my call yet. I'm going to try again this afternoon to see, just because I wanted to give him a heads up in case we do, so that he would know why we would be calling.
Okay. And Joanne, where would they be located at, and what would they be doing?
The security guards,
Yes.
there'll be one at the front door with that temperature machine, and they're gonna be the ones that are gonna say, just like we have at the courthouse, where the courthouse has sheriff's deputies, they'll be looking at the temperature gauge and not letting someone in. same thing with the mask, and there's going to be one posted there, and there has to be one posted at the Meridian Street side, because those are the areas that people come in for auto title currently, and I would assume it will be treasurer kind of on that end, as if Brad opens back up when the building does. The third person is our rover, who roves outside checking doors and windows in the parking lots, kind of goes through the building, and then also monitors the cameras that we have. And then they will be, taking turns for each other for lunch breaks and so forth.
Okay. And then as far as the cost goes,
We are currently supporting 3, and that comes out of the general fund. I mean,
okay.
when we were, and the only other thing that happens is when and if, because Jill does not operate Wednesday nights or Saturday currently, because, and I don't know if she's going to go back to that, but she had always had a person herself look at those, stay at those doors and make sure that someone was here until 6 o'clock on Fridays and from 8 to noon on Saturdays when they were gone. Though I did hear that gentleman that was doing that for her got hurt, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come back to do that for them.
Okay.
If in fact she goes back to those hours.
Okay. And then Ryan, I know you've got to get going. Ryan, as far as the discussions, I mean, do the departments and elected officials, did they have, as part of our plan for the COVID, do they have a plan on return and once the building opens back up?
Both times in the summertime when we beat the curve and we were at our lowest levels, we did 2 consecutive surveys for reconstitution planning. So most of all departments have entertained the idea, or if they participated in that. Obviously that was, department directors were highly encouraged to participate, and then elected officials could choose so. But most of everybody should have the concept of reconstitution, as well as in the continuity plans that are put together, reconstitution is a topic within that plan. And then most of all departments through the CARES group and other, whether just direct outreach, should, if they did not participate, then they wouldn't, but have mitigation measures in place, whether social distancing, plexiglass, of course, masks, disinfectant, a whole array of different disinfectant. So almost all offices, I would imagine, has mitigation measures in place.
Yeah.
And then
And
my
Mike,
only
I
recommendation.
would agree with that. And I also thought one of the things that we have to think about is if the board is intending to have their meetings in the boardroom again, we would want to get plexiglass separating the tables up there and where the commissioners sit, and then where visitors sit, which I've got. I had a gentleman come out and give me a quote on that. But Ryan is right. Most of the departments who are still, who are here working and taking appointments have plexiglass on their counters and so forth like that for people that come in and see them. Now, the only caveat with that is, and I think I heard Kelly Jo talk about that earlier, is that her department at this point, I'm not sure what they've been doing and how they've been seeing people. She may have gotten some plexiglass set up on her own that I was not aware of.
okay.
But it's not that hard to get, so
If I
now
may,
anyway.
My only
Earlier it was
recommendation,
harder to get.
my only recommendation, and I've held this since the beginning, is to not get adversarial with the mask requirements. I know as a governor's order, and most of the populace is compliant with that order, but due to the current political environment, I would remain from getting any adversarial contentious with mask wearing requirements or temperature reading. The only requirement still replaced by the governor, which we would have to follow, is mask requirements for employees, as well as social distancing of 6 feet between an office setting. So a large organization like JFS may have a little difficulty with that, with the vast array of employees they have, but most of us are smaller departments and be able to spread out. But those are governor orders.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. My whole thing is we need to open back up. It's time. And, I still want to be safe, but like I said, you can pretty much go anywhere now except for our building. And I was in Randy Roberts' office, I swear, for 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, I saw I'm not kidding you, I counted them, 5 people come up and yank on that door, kick the door, scream profanity because our doors are not open. But yet you can go to a grocery store, you can go to a bar, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to bowling alleys, and you can go to, our courthouse. I mean, they've all been open. And so I just think it's time to transition back. As far as staffing goes, of course, we would work with the directors at their recommendation, if they want to, on our floor, everyone pretty much has their own office. So I don't see why they wouldn't be able to come back. But if they wanted to come back in teams like Team A, Team B, I mean, we'd still leave that discretion to the directors, as to what would work best for their departments. But the point is, we are interested, we want the building back open and we want the public to be serviced.
Mickey's a good example of the rotation of teams. I know he kind of enacted them again once we got through this or started getting into the height of this third wave. So encourage any department to reach out to his office and see how he's done it for larger departments. The other things that the courts do, if someone comes in and they have a temperature, which is difficult in January, if you're sitting in a hot car for 30 minutes, you may pop hot when you originally come in. It's not a perfect solution. I don't want to just brandish them from the building. Something the courts do is they put them off to the side and then they hand them a letter, which we have that yellow piece of paper with all the phone numbers, to have them contact the office they're looking for. And if they can come down the stairs and give them the service they need or figure out another solution to get them what they need versus just brandishing them from the building.
Okay. And that would help with any contention if
Absolutely.
someone has because I mean, we don't want that, but yet we want we're public servants. We want the public to be served, but yet, we want to protect them and our employees. And I think, especially now that the vaccine's out and stuff, I think we can figure out a safe way to keeping the COVID down. We're never going to completely eliminate it, but at the same point in time, I just think it's time that we reopen our building. And Ryan, can you help us draft up a communication to the elected officials and stuff regarding, that they have, to reference the reconstitution planning, and that, the commissioners will work with our directors and elected officials. I mean, it's really up to them, but, we're still going to give them leadway. They know best than we do what works best for their department. I mean, our floor, like HR, there's 3 of them. Janet can opt to bring them all 3 back, or if she wants to stagger them on certain days. But the point is, we want someone here every day that can address any issues that the public needs help with.
Well, and you're going to find that the majority of the departments are back fully staffed right now. Yeah.
I know the external ones we are. Most of us, solid waste, salt water resources, EMA, sheriff's office, we're all here.
Yeah.
Vicki, do you have any comments or any concern?
I think Janet is already doing that. I think Janet's in the office, and I don't know if she's in the office the same time anybody else is, but I do know she's in the office, and Jenna's in the office sometimes. Now, Susan, I'm not sure.
No, Susan, I see Susan probably the most out of the 3 of them.
Okay, so she's
I
in the
think
office too.
they're rotating, but again, like I said, Vicki, we can still leave it to the discussion, but the point is, we want someone from every department to be able, if someone wants to come in and they've passed the screening and they need help, we want them to be able to get helped. And so whatever the director feels that they can do, to accommodate that, I'm fine with.
I think JFS is probably going to be the most difficult because they're so large.
Yeah, but I think, Tony, you can comment. You talked to Kelly Jo about that, and she mentioned it today about having lobby people and
Right.
Tony,
Right.
do you want to comment on that?
She did. I spoke to her several weeks ago about that and my desire to have the building open as well. She said that, most of the teleconferences are going to stay that way, and the state and federal are saying, hey, you continue to do that. But she didn't seem, as well as today, did not seem to have a problem having the lobbies open, so people that needed access to counselors or advisors that they have that shouldn't be a problem at all with her. And she again said that today.
Okay.
So that would be my desire. And
Okay.
that's about any department. I think that is one, that there are so many people that need that access that may not have computers or access to a phone, is being able to, now, I keep hearing that people are calling but not getting anybody on the other end or returning their calls. The folks that need that help and that assistance and a face-to-face when they're terrified because they're going to lose their benefits, I think that would be very, very beneficial, and that would be serving the public the way we should be serving them.
Okay.
Well, I'll work on that memo and I'll hopefully have it possibly to you even as early as tomorrow. So. And we'll-
Yeah, that would be great. The sooner we can get it out to, especially people in the building, like Joanne said, a lot of them have already come back, but still, we understand some people may need a little more time, but, and Joanne, will we be able to have the plexiglass in the boardroom for our next meeting, or should we, or I mean, the 28th, or I mean, we'll just have to advertise how we're gonna do it. If not,
It's a very simplistic design. What they talked about doing was pushing your tables back together again like they were prior to them being moved apart, putting plexiglass between the two sides, and then one at the end where Vicky sits, and then one in the middle, and then one in the end where Sabrina sat. It should be very simple. They should be able to get it here before your next meeting, I would think. I mean, the meeting for that week, the 28th,
Yeah.
I would think. But I can find that out.
Yeah.
And that pretty much is all you'd need, because anybody coming to talk to you would be protected by plexiglass too. You know, there was room for two people sitting across from you guys, and you know, it looked okay to me. I can bring, I can, what I can do is scan it and send it to you guys so that you can see kind of like what it looks like. It's pretty simplistic though. It doesn't require much. And then you've got a few chairs in the back that you can, that we can set apart 6 feet if you have public coming into here.
You know, Joanne, and maybe this is a question for Julie to check with Chris Majuri. Is there still a way we could do like a hybrid meeting? Like if we had 2 commissioners here, but maybe one of the other ones wanted to like
Zoom in.
Zoom in? I mean, we're allowed to do Zoom up until July, but I wonder if there's a way that, like, for example, if let's say Vicky has the sniffles and she doesn't feel like, you know, she should come in, but she still wants to participate. Is there a way that we can still have Vicky, you know, participate? Maybe that's an IT question, that we could do like in hybrid so that Vicky wouldn't miss out. Or me or Tony or, you know, whoever.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
We can?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does that sound good, Tony and Vicky? Just
You
in
know,
case?
that might be good if you're out somewhere too, if you're not,
Exactly. I mean, we might as well take advantage of it as long as, you know, we have until I
Right.
think it's July 1st, but I was thinking about that, or Tony wasn't feeling good, or if like I said, I woke up with sore throat and I don't want to, contaminate you and Tony, if I could Zoom in, you know,
yeah.
I'm just thinking until we get this vaccine under control. Okay, well, that works good for us then. Okay, is there any more questions regarding the reopening? I know Ryan's got to be somewhere in 5 minutes, so
Impromptu speaking, I'm good at it. It's okay.
maybe have one of the sheriff's deputies take you with lights and sirens. You'll get there.
Thank you, Ryan.
I like Zoom sometimes too. So the only other thing is continue possibly some flexible HR policies for immunocompromised or other people that really are not comfortable or should not be in a work environment.
Yeah,
But-
and that's where, you know what, we sort of left that flexibility to the directors, and Vicky, correct me if wrong, that if they had someone that was compromised, they could telework.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm still fine with that. I just don't want an entire department not here.
yeah.
I want people here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you.
all right,
Thank you, Ryan.
Enjoy the sunshine.
be
Thank you.
careful.
All right.
All right, guys, I was trying to get us out of here at 1. Do we want to go ahead and just do the other 2 discussion items while we're here?
Yes,
Is that, and then the rest of it, we just read through and do the resolutions and journal entries. But we want to start with the Board of DD board appointments, the 2 members that
You know,
need-
Sabrina, I just have a comment on that. I mean, I can't, we have to make that decision today because they meet the 21st. But the same thing was done this time because I pulled it the last 2 meetings. Only 2 people are in here. So that kind of tells me the decision has been made. And you know, we used to discuss this kind of stuff.
No,
And I
there
guess
should be 4 of it. 4
but
of it.
I only got 2. And the last 2 meetings, I only got 2.
No, there was, Julie, there were supposed to have been all 4 of them.
I've got Thomas Grist and Maureen Haska. And like I said, I'm not going to pull them because that definitely would harm DD, but that's why I pulled them, because we went against the process. And I think in the
Yeah.
future, we really need to discuss this stuff.
Well, I think in the future, Vicky, if we have more interested people, then
We should interview them.
we should interview them.
Yes.
And unfortunately, but no, there was supposed to have been 4. Julie, do you know what happened to the 2 mics? Because they were all 4
I
supposed to.
Probably get them for you.
Yeah,
Pardon?
yeah, they were supposed to all 4 be in the packet. And I know you should have got an email, I think we all did, that Thomas Grist is the only one that now
Right.
has a relative. So
Yeah, I
he's
talked to John Brunetti about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can definitely do him. Now, the other 3, the only problem with, and I told John, or asked John on Tuesday to send reminders out to the 2 mics that didn't have the declaration, just to be fair.
You know what? This is part of the problem though, Sabrina. They did have the declarations. And that was part of my concern. Why did those 2 get sent the declarations and the other 2 didn't? They did have the declarations in the last meeting.
No, John said no, not even Thomas Grist and Maureen, they just got those declarations. They
Well,
didn't. have them either.
supposedly Mike DeLuke asked Kathleen if they needed now he didn't ask me, but he
Yeah.
asked her, do we do the declarations? And she sent them to him and Daly. And I said, well, if you can't send them to 2 without sending them to all 4.
Yeah, and well, John on Tuesday sent an email to both Mike DeLuke and Mike Daly, reminding them that we were going to discuss it on Thursday and that they needed to get their declarations in.
Well, I think probably at that point, they thought the decision had been made if they didn't answer, because I was told they had the declarations last meeting. But again, I didn't think it was fair that we just had 2 in the packet.
Well, that's an error, and I don't know why, because I asked Julie to put all 4 in there. Julie, do you know what happened? Is it just an error or?
I'll have to get those from Judy.
Oh, that's okay. We're going to make the decision today. I mean, we have to.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I made sure, because I told John, I said, make sure you send it out to Mike, because I remember Mike Daly and Mike DeLuke didn't have declarations, but then I learned that neither did Tom Grist or Maureen, and I said, well, you've got to send it out to all 4. Well, Tom and Maureen sent theirs in yesterday. I think he emailed all of us that they came in, but we did not get Daly and DeLuke's. So I don't know if they sent it to Kathleen, but even if they did, John Vanetti reached out to them Tuesday to get it here by today so we could discuss.
Yeah. This whole thing just kind of got messed up as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it did. And we try so hard. And like I said, in my opinion, the best thing would have been done is we personally interviewed them and decided.
Yeah.
But okay, so do we have a motion then to, let me see here, I got my notes here, for the 2 board appointments then. So do you guys feel comfortable? It sounds like Tom Grist is a SWU-in. He's the only one that has a relative. So we
Right.
know he's going to be one. But now Maureen Haska, did anyone have any comments or questions about her?
her background seems, on paper, looks good. That's all I'm seeing.
Yeah. Vicky, do you have any questions regarding Maureen?
No, like I said, Sabrina, I think the decision's been made, so I think we should just pass it and move on and hopefully do better next time.
Yeah, okay. Great. Do we have, I think there's a resolution, a draft resolution to appoint these two folks in our packet. Did you guys see it?
Mm,
I did
You know,
not.
I did not.
It says draft appointments to the Portage County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
No. I don't think I have.
Resolution, the appointments to Portage Board of Developmental Disabilities,
Yeah,
that's it?
and then you gotta, I think you have to state their names. You make a motion to approve the appointments of blah, blah, blah to the Portage County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Motion for appointment of Portage County Board of Developmental Disabilities of Tom Grist and Maureen Haska to be appointed to the MRDD Board.
Okay, I will second. Roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes,
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes. Okay. The next thing we have here is the notice from the Director of Developmental Disabilities. We need a motion to pass the resolution. And just for your record, the specific member in question, John Vanetti sent over his letter of explanation to us. It should be in your emails. It just came up during session today.
move to request the Director of Developmental Disabilities to waive the removal requirement of section 5126.021A7 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second that?
Okay. Roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes,
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes. Okay, and now we go back to journal entries.
then that's it, correct?
Yes.
All right. Move in accordance with the ORC 321.261, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the Portage County Treasurer's DTAC report through December 17, 2020.
Second that?
Okay, roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the Portage County Investment Reconciliation for the month of November 2020 received on December 16, 2020, as presented by the County Auditor and County Treasurer.
Second that?
Okay, roll call, Julie?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners acknowledgement of receipt of the December 18, 2020 certificate of County Auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do exceed the official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2021, as presented by the County Auditor's Office.
Second that?
Okay, roll call?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the December 18, 2020 and December 29, 2020 certificate of the County Auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second that?
Okay, roll call?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners receive the December 29, 2020 amended certificate of estimated resources for the year beginning January 1, 2020, as submitted by the Portage County Budget Commission.
Second that?
Okay, roll call?
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 325.07. The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the monthly record of proceedings and transactions for December 2020 as presented by the Portage County Sheriff's Department.
Second that?
Okay, roll call.
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Move that in accordance with the ORC 311.20, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's monthly jail reports for expenditures and food costs for prisoners for December 2020.
Second?
Okay, roll call.
Vicky,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
And Tony, I just want to say you're welcome to jump in with those resolutions and journal entries. The only reason I did them all today was we had a long meeting. And I know when you're new, you're kind of scrambling around sometimes.
Correct, Vicki, and thank you so much for doing those. I appreciate that.
But I mean, you jump in. I mean, if you want it, I'll do them one meeting, you do them the next, whatever, you
Give me
know?
give me a couple days of practice how the
Okay.
flow goes.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's what
Thank you.
Maureen and I used to do is rotate them. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
all right. Well, thank you guys so much. Sorry it was such a long meeting, but I figured it was going to run over today. So thank you again for everything.
We got a lot done.
Thank you.
Bye,
You guys
guys.
have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.